Howson versus Damien Trainor. You're going to love this.
Andy Howson versus Damien Trainor. In the red corner, we have Andy Howson fighting out of Bad Company Camp in Leeds and trained by Richard Smith. In the red corner, we have Damien Trainor fighting out of K-Star Camp in Birmingham and trained by Steve Logan. This fight to be fought over 5 3-minute rounds under full Muay Thai rules.
And these two epitomise that weight category at the top end.
And in many ways, that 3 rounds or 2.5 rounds was a taster for these two guys. So they've already had a little bit of an idea of what could happen, haven't they?
Yes, I mean, you saw Damien there sinking a hard body punch and a trademark, that body punch, hook and low kick, straight away. And these two look very deadly serious. You know, like, you know, they laugh and joke outside the ring, but as soon as they get in, look at that expression on Damien's face, Malcolm. You know, and obviously, Mr. Howson, absolutely not fazed by that at all. Nodding and smiling when he gets caught. Just a little nod, but very, very furious action we're going to see here with these two.
Talking him to beforehand, Andy said one of his problems in both his fights, the fight we were talking about on Paul Hennessy's show, and his first fight with Damien, is he was a little in awe in the first rounds of both those fights, gave them too much respect.
Yes, because he was up against a top-class Thai opponent on his last one, and what a war it was. Absolutely fantastic. One of the best fights I've seen in the UK last year against the Thai. And obviously the same thing again. He's in with a guy, as he said, you know, he watched Damien growing up when he was a junior fighting, and when Damien was fighting adult fights, and, you know, 5-rounders. So he's actually fought his hero, not once, but now twice. You're fighting your hero. And that's why he said probably the first round he was a little bit fazed by it, and, you know, and rightly so, who wouldn't?
I think the criticism of Damien might backfire in a big way here, because you said he's so focused and so determined.
That's I was starting to say before, Malcolm, thank you, you reminded me. From every negative comes a positive, and the positive is somebody slags you off on an internet forum, it does one of two things: you either ignore it or you react. And I believe you can react in a positive way, and that's what I think that Damien will do. I mean, there's a silence there. There's, you know, the crowd were very, very vocal when these two fighters came into the ring, and 2,000 people have dulled into a silence with the odd obligatory shout of A, which is the trademark thing that they shout in Thailand as they do here. You can hear that A, that's what people shout, and they acknowledge that. The crowd
like two gunslingers at the
right.
moment, Sandy, tit for tat, whatever one throws, a lightning response comes back. They really are that fast at the weight.
It's like watching a fast game of ping pong with pain. Can you say that without a drink? Or can you say it with a drink? Yeah, it's just so fast. It's like, honestly, like a fast game of table tennis. It's just bang, 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 non-stop. And like you said, one hits back, and it doesn't matter who starts it first, but the other will counter. Do not go for a cup of tea. Do not blink. Do not move. Just sit here and watch this.
And being honest, in the past, and I mean quite distant past in terms of Andy Howson's short career, we've seen him come in, let's be honest, a bit out of condition. Those days are long gone as well now, aren't they?
Oh, yes. I mean, look at him. Look at his six-pack there now. He's maturing, Andy. You know, just the same thing as we've seen with his counterpart and his friend in the gym of Liam Harrison, one of our favourite fighters for Channel 5. You know, Liam's in Thailand at the moment, you know, as we speak. He's just, you know, he's got some real big prestigious fights going on, you know, and obviously the two of them, we've seen them rise from like being a young teenager. They start to go through that transitional period where they turn into a man, boy to man, as I say, which obviously Damien's already done, and that's where Andy is right now.
Yes, superbly conditioned for his fights. Now, Trainor always superbly conditioned, and I feel for many years one of the most underrated men in the sport because, as you said, he doesn't brag about himself. He isn't out there as a showman or talking about it. He just does it in the ring.
That's right. Walking comes first, the talking comes later. You know, actions speak louder than words, and we're going to coin all the phrases in this fight, Malcolm. We're going to be allowed freedom of speech. And, you know, I'm really privileged to be sat here with you, Malcolm, and speaking and talking and watching this fight. This is, you know, it's awesome. I really am.
And getting back to that fight, that was a really good, sharp first round.
Amazing. I mean, you know, I couldn't even begin to get a pen to paper and judge that, Malcolm. I'm too busy watching this and talking about it. You know, I'm not even going to do a score unless I, you know, I start to see things later on. But for now, I mean, I couldn't separate those two there. Just pure action throughout the whole 3-minute round. And it's full Thai rules too, so we've got a lot to come to. You think that's it? You've seen nothing yet.
Yes, if we do say anything about that first round, it was fought at a specific range, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, and I think we'll see, you know, the weapons coming in. We've got knee and elbow to the face yet that we haven't seen.
They didn't come into play in that first round. There wasn't that range at that first round, was there?
No. I mean, this round, you have to say, don't blink. You should not get up, go for a cup of tea. Okay? Don't do anything. Sit here and watch this. This is going to be an absolute awesome fight. Damien Trainor, who walks the walk. Andy Howson, who walks the walk. Very little talk, and when it is from these two, it's usually nice, great comments. And you've seen them, the end of that first round, they both laughed, punched each other in the stomach as a gesture of like, well done. They've come out and they're just growling at each other now. You know, there's no love lost. Okay, once that bell goes, and the minute the bell, you know, sends the end of the round, they both smile at each other. True sportsmen, absolutely through and through.
And as we said again, a super prestige fight, no belt at stake, just the bragging rights.
Absolutely, and that's good. You know, like we've been talking about this title thing all night, Malcolm. You know, you don't need to just fight for a title. The main thing is fight. Just fight. That's the nature of the beast.
And the elbows coming in like you predicted this round.
Yes, I thought that would happen. They're not going to show us everything in the first round, even though they showed us a lot. You know, there was non-stop action. Oh,
he rocked Andy there. Damien rocked Andy.
Yeah, he just dipped there. When you ever see somebody's legs drop slightly, that's where you get a slight brain rock. That's where the brain inside, okay, the skull will just rock slightly, okay, and that's when you get like a very minuscule flash knockout, and that's when the legs go. So he obviously tagged him there, but Andy, you know, straight back, you wouldn't know he'd been hit there. It's instantly back, and that shows his conditioning.
Yes, Damien reddening around the right eye. That side of his face, and he nodded again to Andy, as you said, mutual respect here.
Nice deep low kick from Damien there, because obviously they both of them are very good at blocking, if you notice. There's been a lot of shin on shin so far. So what they need to do is go behind that leg. And that was a good tactic from Damien. And he's just done it there, caught the leg.
Yes, he's caught the leg three times in this bout already.
Yeah, because I noticed before when Damien threw a kick, Andy was blocking nicely and vice versa. So they now need to go on what's called a tactical approach and learn, going deep into the Thai boxing resources. That's the trademark body hook of Damien. Yeah, they need to go into their own, the basic skills now of old, which is what's called advanced Muay Thai. Okay, the Mae Mai and the Luk Mai, which means change your tactic of your technique slightly by disguising it. A low kick is a low kick, but you know, if you move to your right or move around your opponent, catch the leg and kick, those are the tactics. It's still a low kick, but it's what you do with it. And that's what separates an experienced A-class fighter. What of these are laughed at that elbow because it just tapped him. Damien just laughed. But yeah, this is the tactical approach. This is where the experience will come in.
And yet it's still explosive. That's the best of both worlds, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's when you get true people at the top of their game, when you get such explosion but such control and thought as well.
That's it. I mean, it's true grit here at its best. You know, we've got tactical, we've got basics, we've got advanced techniques, we've got solidarity there. You know, oh, beautiful right punch, beautiful skip left knee. Mr. Trainor has obviously really has improved, and he's smiling now, Damien. He knows his effect. If you're going to make a little, get that pen on your judge's card and steer it from left to right, you would steer it left to the red corner, perhaps.
This also shows you how much this rematch means to Damien. He's not a showboater, he's not a showman, yet he ripped his arms up into the air there at the end of the round to make a statement. He's not one for making statements like that. This means so much to him, this fight.
Like I said before, Malcolm, it's maybe the, you know, who knows, that internet forum might be doing more good than harm.
I mean, it's been such a good rate of work already in these first two rounds.
Yeah, nice combination from Andy. A little bit on the arm, sorry, and Damien replies back.
You were right, because it was a flash knockout. It was high on the temple, wasn't it?
Yes. And it's just called, you know, it's just where your brain rocks a little bit, and you know, obviously that goes straight down to your boots, as they say, and you know, your legs will crumble a little bit. That's what happens. But Andy just took it very well. You know, it wasn't classed as a knockdown, or you know, there's no standing eight there because he is very well conditioned.
And his face betrayed no emotion. As you said, it was just his legs that gave him away. But as you said, Damien is sharp and hard and fast. But as you equally mentioned, Andy's defense is so good as well. It's such a perfect match.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you mentioned it before, there's two marks now, one on the right temple of Damien there, and one on the left under the eye. So he is actually being successful, Andy, with himself, with his techniques.
That's right, but they're so sharp. Beautiful corkscrew uppercut there from Damien, and they both smiled again.
Look at Damien. He's enjoying this fight, Malcolm, and that knee there, whoa, that was excellent timing, beautiful accuracy.
And this is shaping up to be a great fight already. We had it on paper, it looked it, but sometimes they fail to live up to expectation. This one certainly is at the moment.
Attempting the nice round side knee there from Damien. You don't see that so often. That was good. Skip round knee. Nice high kick from Andy Howson. Just a little mention about the trainers. We've got Richard Smith, obviously, there from the Bad Company main trainer. And obviously, we've got our friend there, Steve Logan, from the K-Star Academy in Birmingham. Two very experienced trainers. Ooh, that body knee again there. So it shows the condition of Andy, because that was a solid shot.
Yes, the crowd really appreciating this one. Yeah. Oh, downward elbow from Damien.
Yeah, he's losing confidence now. That second round's done him a lot of good, Malcolm, and it's bolstered his confidence up, knowing that he can land shots, and cleanly too. They're going to score well.
The worry for him though, Sandy, as we're noticing, is the left eye, the swelling underneath it, the damage around the right temple. He's had the more success, but Andy looks far less marked, and you wonder if this starts to cut.
Yes, considering the point you've said there, Damien is more accurate and he has landed, but Andy's actually produced the marks on Damien. They're both loving this fight, Malcolm, aren't they? You can see they're both enjoying it. They're enjoying everything. And just the point.
Oh, big elbow there. Big elbow there from Damien.
And Andy just laughed again. Sign of a good fight, Malcolm, is I didn't even notice John Blackledge was in there. No, the fact that we can see him on our screen, he stood that far back from the fight. These two fighters show how professional they are.
And so sort of walked through that elbow.
Yes.
And another big elbow from Damien. This has brought the crowd to fever pitch.
But look at that eye swelling up, Malcolm. They need to get that down in the corner. We'll get some ice on that, on Damien, because I'd hate to see a fight get stopped on the cut.
Especially of this caliber as well, but Andy is unmarked. Good body shot there, this time from Howson. Oh, big right hand from Damien. And Andy's feet have gone again. Andy's gone. He's gone. He's tucking up.
I don't know. I don't think so. It looked like he was rocking, but he just put his hands down in contempt.
Oh, brilliant. Look at that. You're right, Sandy. Unbelievable. I thought he was rocking and rolling.
It looked like he was. No, I think he was just sort of going, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it was difficult to see from the back, Malcolm. I was on it at a slightly different angle, but from here, from where we are sat, it did look like he was going. But I just noticed that just the gesture of his face, he just looked like, and I don't know, he took, because Damien can't half bang.
Well, he did as well, but I'll tell you something, there's no two ways about it. It's Trainor's round.
Yes, what Trainor's looking like is saying, what are you doing still stood in front of me?
It's Trainor's round, but I have to apologise to Andy there. I thought he was gone, and as you said, he dropped the glove and said, bring more on. But he shook his hands to the corner and said, what can I do? Yeah. That was a masterclass by Trainor that round.
It was. I mean, obviously, you know and I know, Malcolm, fighters who have lost, who perhaps and arguably shouldn't have lost, which is, what people say about Damien because of his experience, blah, blah. Yeah, he's obviously wanting this fight, and it's who wants the fight the most usually win.
Good body shot there from Andy.
Yeah, that's the type of punch that Damien uses, and Andy used it back.
And there's the big right hand, and then the left, and this is where I thought he was gone.
No, he did actually wobble. You were right. And now from the back, for us point of view now, you'd say, look, his hands are down, he's taking it. But what did it to me was that. I noticed that he put his hands back up, solid, which meant that head must be clear. Yeah, and obviously, and then from that point, he kept his guard up again, as you can see here now, so thinking, he was, of course he was, but a sign of a true champion as he is, thinking, I'm going to need to cover up and then come back, and as he did there.
But superb fight. But I mean, Andy was looking to his corner as if to say, my God, what is this man doing? Because he unloaded in his own corner, Damien, and it was awesome to watch. And as you said, from the back, when we were watching it, it looked like Andy was all over the place. And as you said, he certainly played peekaboo with his guard and said, incredible chin.
Yes. And that, if anybody ever questions whether Andy can take it, I would never question that. He's just proved himself again there.
But I must say, for that round, Damien Trainor was on fire.
That was awesome. This is Muay Thai at its best. And, for anybody who's going to be watching this, and you're watching this now live, it's just awesome. This is Muay Thai at its best. I bet if this was in Thailand now, the Thais would be on the feet. And I'm telling you, they would, because they'd really appreciate this fight. It's a cracking start. Cracking, absolute, amazing rounds of fight with these two have just put in.
Still the pivotal rounds 4 and 5 to go as well. I'm amazed at Andy's powers of recovery. Superb. And a short right hand of his own again into that left eye, which Damien has to watch.
Yeah, Damien smiled again. You always know, I mean, it's a Thai thing that, you know, Malcolm, and the British have adopted it very well. Is if you get it, you laugh. And it's psychologically damaging sometimes to your opponent. You know, because you think, I've just hit you and you're smiling. Are you mad? But it works.
Stop Damien in his tracks there with the low kick, Andy.
Yeah, Damien smiles through his green gum shield as he does that. Can hear Damien's corner just said, be first. He's sort of stood off back a bit here, hasn't he?
Oh, big right hand from him again, though, on the counter.
Understandably, them standing off slightly because they've got power in every hand, every elbow, every knee and every kick. There isn't one side of their body that's on the, right to the top, jumping downward, perfect to the top of the head. Absolutely spot on. And Andy just
keeps coming forward.
Terminator, this guy doesn't give up.
When you said that Thai boxing is the new boxing in terms of the next big thing, these two men are showing us why, really.
Oh, yes. I mean, this should be shown primetime TV. It should be on every single channel. Sky as well. Oh, beautiful.
Everybody knows that I love boxing, but boxing can't give you this.
No.
As much as I love it, it cannot give you what we are seeing now.
This is excitement on its highest level. I'm just so privileged to be sat here, Malcolm. This is such an awesome fight. We can't get any closer to the ring. If we're any closer, we'll be in it. And I don't want to get in there with them, either of these two. Quality fighters.
Oh, a big elbow, and Andy says, give me another one.
Oh, they both hit each other with the same elbow. They both did a left uppercut elbow together. Same simultaneous. That was awesome.
Psychologically, Damien must be wondering, what have I got to do? Most other men would have been out of there by now. But one of the great gifts for Andy is he's unmarked still.
Sorry, I was just going to say to you, the point you made earlier and you've made throughout this fight, Malcolm, you just reiterated it there. I was just going to repeat your very words. He is unmarked. How?
I don't understand, but it's a gift. I mean, he's got all the technical ability. And he took that on the chin and he says, come back on.
He said, give it me back. Wow, you are tough, Mr. Howson. You know, if you don't win this fight, mate, you've won it on conditioning and being hit and spirit and warriors. Oh, stuck for words. This is awesome.
I mean, I'm a firm believer that Damien Trainor is winning this fight.
Yes.
But if you were to walk in now and look at the two men.
Yes, if you walk, right, exactly, good point. Imagine you walking in now into this arena. You come in here now, yeah? 4 rounds have gone. We're in the final round. I can't believe, where's that gone, Malcolm? Have I missed a round? If you came into this fight and looked at these two, you'd say who do you think was winning? You'd say Andy Howson. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Jump downward elbow.
I mean, he's been beaten to the punch, he's been beaten to the elbow, he's been beaten to the kick. He's unmarked. He calls his man forward. And I mean, sometimes Damien must be looking at him thinking, what on earth can I do? Because I tell you, most of Trainor's opponents would have been out of there by now. Yes. Simple as that. And yet he's unmarked and he keeps walking forward. And he takes 2 uppercuts on the point of the chin. And then tells him to come on and give me another.
True grit.
Look.
That 1, 2, 3 uppercut there. And this is where he says, come on. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, the 5th round, and I dread to think what's going to happen. I'm in anticipation of this because Andy needs a huge, huge round.
This is it now,
And this is incredible stuff. I mean, the crowd are at fever point now, this 5th and final round.
I mean, you can quote me later, Malcolm, but, you know, this for me, this has been the best fight of 2006 so far. You know, quote me or unquote me, but, you know, from what I've seen so far, and the fight isn't over. You know, 4 rounds, you know, I'd been happy to, you know, if they stop the fight right now at 4 rounds, I've had my money's worth, Malcolm. It's been awesome. Absolutely awesome.
So here we go, the 5th and final round. I think Andy needs a stoppage.
Yes, I mean, you know, first round even, second Damien steps it up, third, fourth. I've got him 3 rounds to 1 even. Or if you give the first round to Andy, 3-1 so far. But he should not be disappointed with that, as in how he's performed today, because he has given us an awesome display of Muay Thai. There's nothing should be taken away from either of these two, win or lose.
And Andy's going for it. I mean, you've got to credit him. He knows what he's got to do, and he's trying it.
Yes. I mean, what would be interesting, Malcolm, if this was a 10-8 round, for example, with Andy, wonder what would happen. Would it be a draw?
I think Damien's going to step up the pace again as well. He still looks fit. He still looks fresh himself, apart from the obvious facial damage, which hasn't worried him. Right. I don't think he's too experienced, I think, to let Andy run away with this round. I'll be very shocked if he does.
Yeah, that's where the experience comes in. I mean, you know, he's used every bit of resourcefulness in this fight. I mean, Andy's now having his moments for sure. And Damien's, you know, gritting his face again, which he's done throughout this fight. You know, and he's coming such a new man again. He's a new Damien Trainor. As we saw, you know, this new Andy Howson is, you know, has been shown a little bit here of where experience can show and make a difference. I think that's what's played part today. 1, experience, and number 2 is that determination coming off a loss because of some negative comments, perhaps.
That could be the icing on the cake.
And both fighters laughing at that, smiling, should I say.
And I'm still absolutely amazed. Right above our commentary position, there's not a mark on Andy.
I know.
Not a mark on him. It's like he hasn't been in the ring.
It's crazy because, you know, Damien has landed with so much, as has Andy. You know, you can see the marks on Damien's, proof of Andy's, you know. Oh, I thought I was going to do something.
I thought it was his hand then for a moment, not just the glove.
Please don't do that. No, his glove had twisted, that was all. And let's say this, Andy Howson stopped and let him adjust it. He didn't need to have done. That's, again, a true sportsman in Andy. But yeah, Damien's on fire, as they say. Well, that'll do Andy some good.
Yes.
1 apiece to be knocked down with a low kick. There must be 2 minutes have gone on this round. Must be into the final minute, Malcolm, of this. It's got to be.
Yes, it's been a big round for Howson.
Nice
a big round for Howson. He's done his best to pull this right back, as expected.
Oh, and it just missed the chin there of Damien. It just, I mean, in fact, I bet he felt the hairs off his knee.
Yes, it's been a big round for Andy this round. What a fight, Sandy.
What a fight. You just took the words out of me right there. A jumping round kick, half knee. Can't be long left, Malcolm, now. There's got to be under 20 seconds. Like I say, oh,
there you go. Wow. And they both know. And I think that's Andy's way of saying Damien's got this fight.
Yeah, but he still punches the air, and rightfully so, because, you know, he's just put 5 rounds of everything into that. I personally think that the midway, you know, the second, third, I've even got Malcolm here clapping his hands at the side of me. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th I'm going to give to Damien. 1 possibly and 5 to Mr. Howson. So 3 rounds to 2 on my unofficial scorecard, of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, what about it? Don't come better than that, I tell you. Let's hear from both these guys. We have a majority decision. Judge A scored the bout 48-48. Judge B 48-47. Judge C 49-47. A majority decision in favor of the boy in the red corner from Birmingham, Damien Trainor.